Hello everybody and welcome to Tiffany Lives Tarot. Today you're watching the next episode of Tarot Friendly, my bi-monthly video series where I introduce a different tarot archetype and explain who it is and what they represent to dispel some of the negative myths and stereotyping that exists around tarot and tarot readings. Today we're looking at the Strength card and we're going to examine 3 different representations, which I will hold up right now. When the Strength card appears in your reading, it indicates that you are involved in a situation that is bringing a destructive force from within you to the surface. And that destructive force is threatening to destroy some aspect of your life. It could be a relationship, it could be your job. I mean, it could be anything. It depends on what the destructive force is and, of course, what area of your life it is targeted at. And we can see that we have lions and we have serpents. Now, these animals represent that destructive force within ourselves. It could be anger and rage, jealousy, addiction. It could be depression. It doesn't have to be full-fledged anger just because it's a lion. If you think about how depression weighs so heavily on people and causes them to feel helpless to do anything to improve their circumstances, this is that raw lion energy destroying part of your life or maybe your whole life. And when we see the Strength card in a reading, we need to acknowledge what is the primary emotion that we are feeling around that situation and how is that emotion influencing us. For example, if it's anger, how is that anger influencing the way we think about the situation, the way we feel about it, the actions that we want to take towards it? How is it altering our perspective? We need to pay attention to that. I'm going to start with the first representation because it's the most traditional in terms of tarot. And we see here an angry lion being held by a very peaceful looking woman. She's got the flowers in her hair. She's the white dress. There's no protective armor happening. She doesn't have any gloves, no weapons. And she's holding the lion's jaw with her bare hands. Now, the lion, again, it represents that raw energy. We can think of it as the ego. And the woman represents our higher selves. She represents that elevated part of us, that core, our intuition, that part of us, that calm knowing, that knows what to do when this disruptive energy comes alive inside of us and gets triggered. She can hold on to the lion with bare hands and keep it tame because as the higher self, acting from our higher selves, she knows what the lion needs as opposed to what the lion wants. Now, let's put this into some context. If this lion has been triggered because you want revenge and that's all you can think about, well, then that's what the lion wants. Go out, get revenge on that person. But the higher self knows that the lion, that revenge needs some understanding, right? And that's very different than going out and getting revenge. If your lion has been triggered and wants to do something spiteful, well, then your higher self knows that the lion actually needs love. If this lion represents depression, well, the higher self knows that what the lion needs is connection. And if this maybe represents an addiction, for example, well, the higher self knows that you don't need the cigarette or whatever it might be. You need some self-love and some self-acceptance. And that is the essence of the Strength card. Your higher self and your ego self are engaged in battle. And which way are you going to go? Are you going to get consumed by the lion and perhaps destroy something very important to you? Or will you connect with your higher self? Let's take a look at this representation We have Pericles from Greek mythology, which we more commonly know as Hercules from Roman mythology. He is also wrestling a very angry lion. No weapons, no protective armor or gear. His sword is literally on the ground. He's not even using it. And he's in a cave. This cave represents the prison created by our negative mindset. It represents what can happen if we let that lion out. If we unleash that lion out into our world, we can get stuck in a very negative place. And even if we haven't, even when we're wrestling it from within, this cave, this negative mindset is where the lion will appear and where we need to do the work of taming that energy. We literally want to refine that raw, forceful energy. And to put it in another context, think of the kid who gets a drum kit for Christmas, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He's just wildly banging on it, and it's driving everyone crazy. But if the kid sticks with it and maybe gets some lessons, he learns how to tame that energy. He learns how to use it so that he can support a band and not lead them astray with wild drumming. The same thing if you're learning how to dance and you're not good at it and you're just kind of clumsy and everywhere. And over time, you work with it enough, it turns into the tango or the salsa or the waltz, right? So we are trying to mature our very reactive impulses into something more refined, into an energy that we can actually use proactively out in the world. And with our third representation, here we have serpents instead of a lion, and we have this column here which represents the core of a person, that grounded place, that place of inner knowing. It represents intuition. And the two serpents intertwined and wrapping around it, they each represent the ego and the intuition. And what happens is the intertwining of them represents the constant battle that we have between our ego and our intuition. You can literally think of these serpents as like the good angel, the bad angel, that we're always listening to and having to make decisions and going back and forth. In this representation, the woman is embracing herself, and in that way, she embraces the two serpents. She embraces and acknowledges the constant battle between intuition and ego. And look how calmly she's doing this. Because when we embrace our shadow side, this is how we understand what these serpents or what this lion needs as opposed to what it wants. And that is when we gain our control. That is when we can allow the creative process to flow. We convert this energy that has been raw and destructive into an energy that can be used for problem solving, for creative solutions, for moving yourself forward in a way that benefits everybody and is not destructive. When we see these cards, we're on the verge, and it's a lesson we need to learn. It's not really the thing, the situation that's troubling us. It's giving us a context to address these issues that we have, this wild energy inside of us that isn't helping us. It's never going to disappear. That's the thing. Just because you tame your lion in one area of your life doesn't mean it's never coming back. It means that when it shows up, you know what to do. And that's awesome. That's freedom. That is true freedom. That is liberating yourself. And that is what we're after when we see the Strength card. It's not a reason to get nervous. It's a reason to get excited. It's a reason to get ready to learn how to control or understand and accept this aspect of yourself that can potentially cause a lot of chaos in our lives. So that, my friends, is the Strength card. I hope that gives you some insight. And if you'd like to know how this energy is alive and playing out in your life, or how you can tame some of this, that's a great reason to book a reading with me at tiffanylives.com. If you think this video could help somebody, please share it, and also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me at tiffanylives.com and sign up for my email list. Okay, folks, well, have a great week, and I'll see you in a couple more weeks with another episode of Tarot Friendly. Bye-bye.